BBC2's season of Bette Davis films continues tomorrow afternoon when a love triangle is torn dramatically apart. The Great Lie at 1:15.
If you think you know about antiques and you've got an eye for a bargain...
This may look like an antique table. In fact, it's a modern reproduction.
Go shopping with the experts.
The older and tattier, the better.
It's all a load of rubbish.
£500.
Invest in the antiques of the future and meet the real dealers.
It's not Deco Schmecker.
Your essential guide. The Antique Show starts tonight at 8:30 on BBC2.
There's an epidemic in Britain today. Symptoms vary, but nobody is immune.
I started to lose a lot of weight. Like shake, sometimes throw up.
It's destroyed families.
He's not just a man gone out and left his wife. He's left everybody.
Crushed grown men.
Big boys do cry.
Even proved fatal.
She said there's been an accident.
And there's no miracle cure. Stress, a disease born of modern times. Wednesday at 9 on BBC2.
Well, because of BBC One's coverage of this year's delayed Grand National, there's a change to the afternoon here on BBC Two. In 5 minutes, a double bill of the A to Z of food. Then Today's the Days here at the earlier than advertised time of 3:25, and that's followed by Children's BBC. But first on BBC Two, a summary of the news with Moira Stuart.
Good afternoon. The BBC correspondent Martin Bell has confirmed that he will only stand as the anti-sleaze candidate in the constituency of Tatton if the Conservative Neil Hamilton doesn't withdraw. But he said Mr Hamilton, who's denied accusations of wrongdoing in the cash to questions row, still had a right to the presumption of innocence.
It's by no means certain that Martin Bell will actually end up fighting the Tatton seat. The object of the opposition parties in putting him forward is to get Neil Hamilton to stand down, or the local party to reject him, so that a normal campaign can resume in the constituency.
I think the Conservative Association in Tatton will now want to consider the position, and I think they may come to the conclusion that Neil Hamilton is unacceptable as a parliamentary candidate for them. That, unfortunately, is something that John Major should have done a long time ago.
I think it's absolutely essential. The Prime Minister now makes it absolutely clear what his opinion is. Whether or not he has control over his party at Tatton's a different matter, but he certainly has control over his own judgment, and it's his judgment we wish to hear on this matter.
Neil Hamilton is showing no signs of preparing to stand down. Tatton Conservatives meet tomorrow night to decide whether to re-select him. His supporters in the local association are standing by him and dismissing this new challenge.
I'm surprised at Martin Bell in the sense that whilst I respect him as an eminent journalist and certainly war correspondent, I'm not sure that he has any grasp of parliamentary level politics or even local politics.
The Conservatives would much rather keep the focus on what they call Labour's humiliating and preposterous U-turn on privatisation. But Labour remain unrepentant about their increasing enthusiasm for the market. In a speech in the City this morning, Tony Blair stressed his presumption in favour of leaving economic activity to the private sector.
The Grand National, abandoned on Saturday because of a coded bomb warning, will be run in a couple of hours' time. The police have asked spectators to leave their cars at home and travel to the event by public transport.
Saturday's mood of high expectation has been replaced by apprehension. No matter how good today's race, the 150th Grand National will forever be overshadowed by events of 2 days ago. Security is at an unprecedented level. Absolutely everyone's being searched, even security staff themselves. But it's a price racing says it must be prepared to pay.
I think once they get out there in the country and the race is happening, it'll be an identikit race. But of course the atmosphere will be surreal. There won't be nearly so many people here. The build-up will be strange. I think one of the factors that's going to affect it a lot is the fact that the jockeys won't have had a previous race. They'll be going out there cold. That'll be the surreal bit about it.
The bookies' pitches are still where they were, but you can be sure they did take their money, and they'll be refunding bets before opening their books for a race that can't possibly take place in anything other than a subdued atmosphere.
West Midlands Police say that 2 bombs planted on the M6 last week each contained 2 pounds of commercial explosive, probably Semtex. The bombs, which failed to explode, caused traffic chaos across the Midlands. Detectives say the IRA's warning telephone calls were made from a phone box in central Birmingham. That's it. There's more news at 5 to 4 on BBC1, followed by live coverage of the Grand National at Aintree.
Good afternoon from the Spotlight news desk. A man who dragged his girlfriend from a blazing car following a collision with a fertiliser lorry is being hailed as a hero. Fire officers say it's a miracle anyone survived the crash, which happened on the A377 between Crediton and Barnstable. The lorry dragged the car 40 metres from the point of collision. As both vehicles burned, the woman was pulled from a space just 18 inches wide. 2 people are being treated in the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital. The first of 13 people has appeared in court, charged with attempting to smuggle drugs into the southwest. It follows the seizure of cannabis resin with a street value of about £4 million. More than a tonne of the drug was found aboard a yacht over the weekend after a joint operation between customs officers and Devon and Cornwall police. Those charged have been appearing before Plymouth magistrates. We'll be back at 4, but over on BBC1.
Hello, good afternoon to you. A lot of sunshine today in the south of the British Isles. Further north, not quite so fortunate. Quite a bit of cloud. That cloud is drifting its way eastwards and pushing a little further north. So eventually I think it's going to brighten up in the Aintree area. So some sunshine towards the end of the day for the Grand National. Now we are going to see those temperatures pick up over the next few days as we begin to see that southerly flow affect the country. We still have those weather fronts in the north, and that's where we keep the cloud through the afternoon and a few spots of drizzle as well. The best temperature, 14 or 15 degrees, still cool around the coast as sea breezes develop. And then tonight, with that ridge of high pressure in the south, that's where we're going to see those temperatures fall off quite quickly, down to as low as -3 in places, 1 or 2 mist patches as well. In the far north, though, we keep that cloud, and probably the best temperatures here between 4 and 6 degrees. That's the forecast. Bye for now.
News just in.
Can you be sure about that?
From now until the election on Saturday nights, ordinary people throughout Britain
Define ordinary.
will be able to get an extraordinary view of the week's election shenanigans in a new weekend Newsnight.
You're not seriously suggesting.
So join me, Gore Vidal, Joe Brand, Neil Kinnock and Jeremy Paxman.
So that's Newsnight, Saturday at 7:05 on BBC2.
Scott Sherin had a glittering future. At the age of 10, he was a West End star. By 18, a TV presenter. At 23, he was dead. A young black man under pressure from whites.
We didn't even recognise his face. He was so badly beaten.
And pressure from blacks.
They found out that he had white parents, and that was forbidden.
The Scott Sherin Story, a Black Britain special. Wednesday at 7:30 on BBC2.
Well, because of the Grand National being delayed until this afternoon, it's a revised lineup here on BBC2. In place of the natural world now, a double bill of the A to Z of food, beginning with the letter F.